Uh, okay. Let's um. Hello,
Hello.
people. I'm playing Taboo right now, where like I have this list of words that I can't use.
So, how do we describe
we
the
get into the
show?
show.
By not
Yeah.
using the forbidden
Everything used.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This is welcome to, not welcome back to. Boys will be the boys.
Yes.
A spin-off franchise in the Duds
Cinematic
universe. Yeah. Where we're gonna be talking about The Boys, the new season of The Boys that just premiered tonight.
Yes.
Although, because we fucked up, we are only reviewing the first episode.
I didn't even know
though
all
there's
three dropped.
Yeah, me either.
Well, I was looking
I
at it
still-
on
I still don't know
IMDb, and then I was like, oh, the next two episodes also have ratings. That's weird. And then I think I got your Discord message, and you were like, hey, so they released 3 right off the bat. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
We can never be present. We can never be present. We're not.
Yeah.
It's
No
against
matter
us.
what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and because of the just the timing of this all, like, it's gonna have to be like super tight window every week because I gotta work on Saturdays now. So
Yeah.
But anyways, so the new season of The Boys just premiered today, and
It
we
sure
watched
did.
one of the 3 episodes that were out.
The season premiere.
Yeah. Yeah, we both decided to watch the first episode. You know, sometimes I like to start with 3 and work my way back, but I was like, you know what, I'll go with 1 this time. Which it was called Payback. I'm not going to get into the crew with this. It's not a movie. Who cares who directed it?
Yeah, all right.
I don't know. I don't even know. My inclination is to go into like a synopsis, but I feel like that's kind of weird to do for like a show thing. It's, you know, it's The Boys. If you're here, you probably watch the show. You're not gonna start watching a review show that's reviewing the 3rd season of a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess we can start with like I guess a quick recap, because this episode started with a quick recap, which was good because it has been a few months since I've seen the show. And there were some things that I forgot. So where we last left off, Stormfront was secretly a Nazi. And she got asterisk. And Homelander was covered in blood. And then Huey and
Butcher's wife died.
Yeah, their son Ryan, who I forgot his name until the end of this episode when Homelander said it. Yeah, Ryan discovered his powers and basically just went nuclear with everything, killed his mom and Stormfront.
And almost killed
Stormfront. Spoilers for this
almost
episode.
killed. Yeah.
And then, so now Huey works for the government in some sort of superhero oversight.
The FBSP, Federal Bureau of Superhuman
Activities?
Policing or something.
Okay.
I think something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, the boys have gone legit, basically.
Yeah.
With, like, a government agency and oversight, and, you know, now they're trying to rein in the superheroes collaboratively with Vought, which will only work out in the end, and I can't see this crumbling at all.
Yeah, it's almost like a good spot to like start like doing a review thing on it, because I feel like this is kind of a, I don't know if I'd say like a full-on turning point, but like an S curve in the show. Where it's like starting to align itself more with the comics, which could be a good or bad thing, because as far as the shows that these guys have produced, like Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen, who produced this. They do Invincible and Preacher, all based on like critically acclaimed comic series, indie comic series. All of them are, I don't know, I guess if you have read those comics and seen the shows of any of those, you'll know that they're not really, it's like they follow kind of the basic plot structure. Like Preacher is the main character gets a angel in him, and basically he can control everything and anything in the universe, and he decides to go on a mission to find God to make him answer for everything. And like that basic plot follows in both the TV show and the comic Preacher, but everything else is like wildly different. And that's kind of The Boys. You know, you got the same main cast of characters, but a lot of different stuff happens. But now they're working for the government there, like Nick said, legit, which is basically where they're at the beginning of the comic.
Right.
Although it's like a mixture, because now it's like, oh, we actually have to like prosecute them and arrest them. Whereas in the comics, I'm pretty sure they were still just killing them.
Yeah.
Like even though they worked for the government, they were still just killing rampantly.
Yeah, because I've read the first omnibus of The Boys, and I think the first time that Huey takes Compound V, he like punches a hole through one of the soups. And he's like horrified by it too.
Yeah.
And so this episode they do introduce, they called it Compound V24. It's green instead of blue. Is it green in the comic?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I think it's blue.
Yeah.
If they show it, I could just be thinking of the show though, but
yeah. Which it's introducing this idea to the show, but yeah, in the comic right off the bat, they have no problems just like injecting it so they can like fight the superheroes.
Well, if you remember in the comic, they like, I would say at least Butcher is he's a lot more of like a sympathetic character in the show or something, like because in the comic he injects Huey against his will.
Yeah, he's kind of
like
the piece
manipulates him into yeah. So I'll be interested to see if that kind of stuff will happen now, because also they have the V24 in the show, which gets them also to where they were at the start of the comic with the superpowers.
So the teen superheroes are starting to become a presence in the comics or in the show.
Right.
In the comics, it's like there's like this whole lore and backstory of all these different superheroes, and like you said, I think we've talked about this maybe when we first started talking about The Boys on like an episode almost like a year ago, probably. That like in the world of the comics, there's like literally hundreds of superheroes like all over the place.
Even in it might be book 2. So the book that you read, was that the one that ended with them like going to Russia?
I think the Russia story no, I think I started the second one and they're still in Russia, but there's like the dude that looks like Karl Marx that has the huge dick. Which I think there's like an Easter egg of him in
the show.
Yeah, because when they go to,
there is a dude with a very big dick.
In like the asylum episode where like they're I'm pretty sure he looks just like him. And so I read the comics, I was like, oh shit, that's the dude from the the hospital that they're all at. Speaking of dicks,
I was gonna say big dicks.
Who's
there's probably gonna be first? Like, what was that guy? Wasn't it? Was it the?
I guess it was.
It was the superhero. It wasn't. It wasn't the guy. Yeah, it was Termite.
Yeah,
I feel like there's gonna be at least one moment every episode that we're just gonna have to be like, so that just happened.
If you were wondering if The Boys was going to retain its hyper-violence from season to season, yep, they are. They certainly did this time.
And kudos on them for like just continually finding creative ways to blow people up or whatever.
For the audience, which I'm assuming you've watched it, but whatever. Termite shrinks.
You just want to talk about it. You fucking sick.
Oh, I do, because it was. I thought it was great because when he shrunk himself down, I was like looking at it and I was like, that's not a butthole. Because doesn't that happen in the comic? Isn't there like he's like running and he jumps inside someone's ass? It's not his pee hole.
I think you're right. No, I think you're right. Yeah, and that doesn't go anywhere. It's literally
it's
just
like a throwaway kind of joke. Like, look how depraved
yeah.
these guys are. But no, they built what looks like a practical set of the inside of this guy's urethra, which is, man, what an IMDb credit that would be. Urethra set decorator, like you had to go find some like red paste. Yeah. And as soon as he like started to like, as soon as he climbed in there and he was like kind of like hesitating, I was like, oh, he's gonna blow this dude. And lo and behold, he sneezes and which I feel like it's funny because I've seen jokes about that. Like people have made jokes about that with Ant-Man.
I was thinking, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, they did the Ant-Man meme.
They're like, why doesn't Ant-Man just climb inside Thanos' asshole and then expand and blow him up?
Yeah.
This episode answered that question of what it would look like.
Yeah. And now imagine if that was just how Avengers Endgame ended. They had all this huge build up, all these character deaths, and then it finally clicks.
Right. And was that the moment where the title happened?
Huh?
There was I think we've talked about it before. Like I like a good like movie title that shows up later in the episode, and I can't tell if that was it, where like Butcher like puts him in the little bag, and then after someone was covered in blood or whatever, it said "The Boys" like on the screen.
Yeah, it was like a good 15 minutes or something like that, because it was there. It was after he decided to not kill him or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I noted that because I was like, oh, cool, a late title sequence. I like that.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk about without just being like, yep, so this happened in the show. Yep, so this happened in the show. Which, this is like a new thing that we're trying out. So it's going to be...
Yeah. I feel like my default is probably going to be like relating it to the comics or something like that. Yeah. Because that's like, gives some context outside of, just describing what happened in the show.
Right. I'm really hoping that Homelander does not become a one-note character, because I feel like in the
just be crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like they did a lot of, which I'm not knocking it, but they did do a lot of like close-ups on like Homelander's face when you're like, yeah, he hates this, he's going crazy, he hates this. Which, I guess Anthony Starr just has such a good, like, I'm going crazy kind of face.
Yeah. It's a very, very strong jawline. For it being, like, very sensitive. Like, just little minute movements. Mm-hmm. Just, like, it's like, it's very, every time I see that, it just makes me think of fucking Watchmen, where Ozymandias is talking about Dr. Manhattan on like the TV, and somebody says like, yeah, but he didn't do anything, or he didn't show any emotions, and he's like, oh, if you knew him like I knew him, you'd see that he was in agony or something like that.
Interesting.
Like he can like detect all the little like he can detect
the minute movements. Is that you say this from the movie or the show?
From the movie. Yeah.
It's I don't think I've seen the movie since like 2012. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Okay. I might have only seen it in theaters, but yeah, I got to give that a rewatch.
Yeah, I love that movie, but it's like it's almost like after watching his DC movies and just seeing him like, it's like the same style, kind of like a really slow motion, a lot of hero shots, but like some reason it works for Watchmen and just not for these other things. But
that's Zack Snyder, if, like, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, because he did like Justice League, and Batman vs Superman and stuff, and like they look like they're trying to be Watchmen too, but it's like, no, but these are different characters. Superman's not supposed to be like Rorschach or whatever.
Right.
I mean, technically they are, because Watchmen are like based on the Justice League and stuff, but
right.
You know.
Which it's funny, they did sort of have a tongue-in-cheek reference to Zack Snyder at the beginning of this with the recut version of the movie.
That's like, right. Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, the whatever cut, like you guys were, using the hashtag online, like my true vision, because they had to like recast or reshoot a bunch of stuff because Stormfront turned out to be a Nazi.
Yeah. Yeah, something I thought was kind of funny. I think this was just a coincidence, because I just think with like turnaround and also probably stuff that neither companies could like discuss openly, but I thought it was funny that like Charlize Theron just showed up cameoing as Stormfront in the movie.
Is that who that was?
Yeah.
I did not catch that.
But she like the reason I thought it was funny is because one of like the post-credit scenes in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness that just came out.
Yeah.
She like shows up. She just shows up and she's like I don't know. She just kind of seemed, I mean, she wasn't a bad guy in the Doctor Strange movie. She was just in like that one scene. But she just pops up and she kind of has like purple like lightning like kind of power. And she just kind of had the same air of like serious superhero-ness or whatever, and I don't know, I just thought it was a funny coincidence. I don't think that could have been planned, but if it was,
holy shit,
I got the joke.
Yeah, I think that's another distinction between the show and the comics, which I don't know, I guess I can't say because I haven't read all of the comics yet, but it seems like the TV show is much more focused on like the Vought aspect of things and like the whole marketing campaign and TV campaigns, and like our numbers are up. Yeah. Like there's the whole scene with I'm just gonna call him Gus because it's Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah. But it's like, he's like, oh, Starlight, your numbers are 96. Like, we're going to make you co-chair or co-captain of the 7 because it's all analytics and data, where like the comic is prolonged periods of time of just the main 4 of Huey, Butcher, Frenchie. What's her name?
The woman.
I thought Kimiko.
Or is it the female?
The female, but I think in the show they give her Kimiko. That's
Kimiko.
her name.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And Mother's Milk, who...
Right, yeah.
The eternally cucked Mother's Milk.
Oh, man. If you continue reading the story, wait till you, like...
Oh, no.
Some of his stuff is really fucked up.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I thought about that. Like when you mentioned the termite going in the pee hole versus the bee hole in the comics. I wish I had the comics, but I think like Dagan has them or something right now. So I could like flip to it for more specific references. But yeah, like because you said like it's just brought in there to be like, oh, look how like debauched all these people are.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the difference between the show and the comic, where like I do like the comics a bit. But I really like the show because of the satire and like, that the biting commentary stuff. And like that's the thing, is like in the comics they would just show stuff like, oh, this guy's gonna go get tiny and go inside a guy's butthole because it's dirty and it's crazy. And like in this, sure, the show does love like just glorifying violence and being like, yeah, haha, we're gonna make you watch this guy like go in this dude's urethra, and it's very like self-aware of that, but also it doesn't just do that to do it. There is like that does like lead into kind of like the story for the episode or whatever with leading into them Butcher deciding to not kill him and being like, oh, we got to take him in, and then the guy gets let off or whatever. So that's kind of what I mean with the show, is like there's more purpose to maybe not every single instance of somebody's head exploding or something like that, but for the most part there's more purpose to all of the violence and the drugs and the sex and all that than there is in the comics, where the comics just, it felt like it was just being edgy to be edgy.
For edgy's sake. Yeah
I
thought that was funny when he grabs Termite and puts him in the little Coke bag, and I'm like, what's wrong with him? Oh, he's so little that like the tiniest amount of like Coke, he like instantly started overdosing. He's just like shaking him up in the bag.
Yeah,
it was great. I think maybe both properties are sort of making this point, is like the damage that is left in the wake of superheroes, where, you know, you watch I think it's in a lot of Marvel movies and probably in DC, where it's like there are these moments of like large scale destruction, and you never actually see like people, you know, like the effects it has on people. Like you see a building go down, and you don't ever see the people in the building just like getting crushed to death. So I feel like in a way, The Boys is almost like an overcorrection of just like, yeah, this is what it's like. Like Homelander goes to like the Middle East and just like lasers dudes in half like it's nothing. It's just carnage.
That and to give Marvel credit, since you brought that up, that's why like some of my favorite Marvel movies are those kind of like mid to late stage ones, where like Iron Man 3, I usually say that's I do tend to flip flop sometimes depending on like how I'm feeling, but I usually say Iron Man 3 is my favorite one, my favorite Marvel movie. And that's like a big part of it is like I love that it explores not really the macro scale of like the random civilians, but there are other ones like Age of Ultron does that a lot, focuses on like I mean, the whole reason they build Ultron is like basically to make sure that what happened in the first Avengers movie doesn't happen again, and that like tons of people don't die, but of course things go awry and it ends up killing a lot more people. But then like Civil War, the whole conflict in Civil War is over like, oh, superheroes need to be policed because they're getting civilians killed. And it basically starts with this guy blowing up and killing like a hospital full of kids because like the superheroes, like the Avengers, were being careless. And so I really like Civil War because of like how it touches on that. But then Iron Man 3 is more about like Tony. It's all about like his PTSD after Avengers.
Right.
And I just think it's really interesting to explore the more human topics in superhero stories, because it's like I've had enough superhero stories. And sure, I'll still watch. I mean, the only Marvel movies I'm going to keep watching now are ones that have like I only really saw Doctor Strange because it was Sam Raimi directing it. I didn't see it because like, oh, it's a new Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
And then I saw Spider-Man because, you know, it's kind of same deal. But, you know, if I see something like that like isn't just going to be, you know, same old bullshit, that's the kind of superhero stuff that I'm interested in nowadays. Because it's not as, it's just not as like played out as, you know, the regular fare.
Which is sort of surprising to me that you don't like Deadpool. You didn't
because of how like self-aware and whatever it is.
I guess, but I think I overlooked that because it was so shocking and violent that I didn't know anything about Deadpool. I haven't seen a lot of the other Marvel movies. I just kind of went into it blind, and I think just through how shocking it was, I think similar to The Boys in some ways, like, you know, some of the deaths that happen where does someone get just completely obliterated by a helicopter blade in that?
In the Boys or
in
Deadpool?
Deadpool 1 or 2,
Maybe.
I don't know. People just getting like
doesn't that happen
chunked up.
In the second one where they like the whole team like jumps out of the plane and I think that because they all like die immediately or whatever.
Like Domino.
And I think maybe that does happen to someone.
Is that Domino? Is she in Zazie Beetz?
Yeah, in the second
I think
one.
Domino's like the only one that survives, and everyone else just gets like Brad Pitt's the invisible guy, and he gets caught in like an electric wire, and he just and dies.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like that one Rick and Morty episode. What are the superhero gang? What are they called? Like the Vindicators.
Yeah, Vindicators.
And the guy gets like sucked into a turbine or something. It's super graphic. I love that shit.
I mean, that happens in The Incredibles even.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they like ban capes.
No capes. Yeah. Fuck. Deadpool. It's like, I think with that as like one, I wasn't like a super big like Deadpool follower, but in 2012 they did like a reboot, and I followed that for a bit. And, like, you know, I knew about the character, so I guess the whole meta aspect of it wasn't new to me. Mm-hmm. And also, I just hate Ryan Reynolds. That's another part of it. I just fucking hate him. I think he's been playing the same fucking character since National Lampoon's Van Wilder in, like, 2001.
Yeah.
And it's boring, and I'm sick of it. So it was just that in a red suit, and I didn't care about it. So, so maybe if it was somebody that, like, I liked... I'd probably have liked it more, but yeah. Getting back to the show though, I did finally remember the thing that I forgot before, which was relating back to the comics again and how it seems like it's, you know, kind of bringing it back to like the beginning of the comics. It was interesting to see Butcher like with Ryan and being like, you know, oh, yo, Bloyer, like, know, like chummy with him and stuff. Because I kind of assumed with how his whole, like, how, like, somber and whatever he was at the end of the last season, Becky died. Like, he was taking Ryan back to be safe. I knew that. I didn't think he was going to, like, fucking kill him or something like that.
Right.
But I thought that, like, now she's dead. Now in the third season they get the superpowers. Now Butcher is going to be like the Butcher at the beginning of the comics. Now he's going to be like a real piece of shit. Hair slicked all the way back. Now he's like bitter because Becky's dead. So I thought he was just going to be like way more cold, but and maybe he will. Maybe he's making an exception for Ryan.
Right.
You know, he's going to still try to let him have like a happy life, but also at the same I can't. That's spoilers for the end of the comic. I don't want to say anything.
Well, I remember in the first one in the comic though, I think doesn't he tell Huey's like that he killed him?
Killed
the son.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I don't maybe it's not true from what I don't know, but I remember that specifically. I was like, oh, that's a departure from the TV show because. Yeah. In the comics, he's like, I killed the little bastard because he was one of them or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. That's kind of like what I mean. In like the comics, Butcher is absolutely hard-lined, like, no soups. Not at all. Like,
no forgiveness, no redemption, like.
Right. Yeah. He just thinks, kill all of them anytime you have the opportunity, pretty much.
Right. Is he the one that kills the Haley Joel Osment one? In this first or second season?
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about.
It bashes his head in like a bathroom.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think that was first season, and which means it's been like 2 or 3 years since I've seen it. So
yeah,
so I'm not really sure. Was the second season last year or was it the year before? I don't remember.
I think it was last year.
Last year? Okay.
I think it was last year. September 2020 was when. Yeah.
So it was like 2020 into 2021, kind of.
October 2020, so kind of.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah.
Man, so they're like all around because it's June now. That's just a weird. Shows don't have like normal release schedules anymore.
Not anymore, no.
Except for like literal like Chicago Fire and NCIS. It like I just remember like growing up, it was always like shows started in September and ended in May. And then you had that summer period where you had nothing to watch. But then you knew all of your shows would start up again in September.
Yeah.
That was like the schedule.
Right. And like there are so many like sitcoms and comedies and shows that like I guess I think of Community as a big one. It's like you can tell that it followed that schedule because there was always a Christmas episode and a Halloween episode, and it's like I love those holiday themed episodes of shows, and I look forward to that. And it's a bummer that like that's not factored in anymore because it's almost like I don't even read that as TV anymore. Like stuff that's on network, I'm like, I don't know, that's old people shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
because like no show survives on those networks anymore unless it's like NCIS or Law and Order or some established brand that's been on for like 20 years. I feel like that used to be the meme, is like, oh yeah, another show on NBC that got 5 episodes and got canceled. Like The Cape, to go back to the Community. Oh yeah,
because that was the one that spawned the whole six seasons in a movie. Yeah. I think the only like not streaming shows that I watch are on like AMC and FX, and they kind of follow the same thing as streaming shows, where they just kind of like have seasons when they can. It's not set to like a specific time of the year or anything like that.
Right. Or like I guess like Better Call Saul is like one of the last examples, but that's also kind of a legacy show because Breaking Bad came out in 2008, so it's like kind of following in that footsteps.
Yeah. I don't even know. I wonder what like the last like network show that I watched was. Like literally maybe Community was like the last one that I watched. And that didn't even finish its run on network. It finished its run on a streaming service. Right.
Kill the streaming service.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a corpse to begin with, but anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So finishing up the Boys episode that we watched. Yeah. I feel like this episode wasn't super like action packed, but it did set up. I mean, I can't say that it wasn't action packed because a dude got exploded through his penis hole. So it's like that's a little reductive, I guess. But I think it wasn't like a typical episode of The Boys that leaves you with like one of those like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next. I feel like it does a pretty good job of like setting up like mini arcs that are about to happen throughout the show. But yeah, the biggest one, which I think was the season 2 cliffhanger ish, is
Newman.
Yeah, Nadia.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
that like
Nadia, yeah.
Because that was like a big mystery, was the one episode in season 2 where like all the people in Congress suddenly have their heads just explode. And then it turns out she's the one that actually has the superpowers to do that.
Yeah,
and
so
it was
like
boss.
Yeah. So basically it's like no new information to the audience, but now everyone knows that. Now the audience knows that Huey knows. So there's like a bit of like, dramatic tension there. But that's only like a half cliffhanger because it wasn't new information to the audience really.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of uneasy alliances are formed in this episode.
Oh yeah. That's actually the one that was most intriguing to me, was the Homelander Butcher thing. So I'm like, this is not present anywhere in the I'm interested to see.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not going to last super long.
Right.
But I'm just curious to see where they're even going with it.
Yeah, because I was watching it and I was like, oh shit, they do kind of have a mutual interest.
Yeah.
Insofar as like hating Vought and everything that they stand for, but I guess they both have different outcomes in mind.
Yeah, right.
But the other uneasy alliance is Huey and Nadia now, because he has to go to work pretending like another just terrifically graphic it was so funny because like we were watching it and he's like laying on the ground and you can see his Batman jaw tongue sticking out.
I didn't think of that. Yeah.
And I was like watching it and I'm just like, Jesus, just put him out of his misery. And like as soon as I said that, that's when he explodes. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Nice.
Yeah, and then the other uneasy alliance is, well, it's kind of like it's almost like setting up a Mexican standoff, because Maeve is helping Butcher find Soups, so they're kind of helping each other out. And then I feel like there's another one, Huey and Nadia. I feel like Starlight,
oh yeah.
Her and Homelander now are like co-captains, so it's like everyone kind of has these alliances that who knows where they will lie.
Yeah. Yeah, that made me think that I could do with like them just allowing Huey and Starlight to be together for like a little bit. They all like when the episode started and I was like, oh yeah, they're like, doing like a happy couple thing now. It's like the whole show, it's been like rocky. Like they've kind of like gotten together and then they've always done the switchback of like, oh, but now one of them found out. And this is like not like a huge lie was revealed or anything. It's more just like a couple spat, I guess, because he like, was like, oh, what about your old boyfriend?
Right.
But still, I just like can't just let them be happy. Like,
right.
Because I love like, I don't know, their relationship is just I really like it. I think it's really cute. It's really good in the like that's something that I do like more in the comics, I would say, because it's like it's basically like developing throughout the course of the entire series. And it's not like they have these like it might happen where they kind of have like little fallouts, but for the most part, it's just like they're together and they love each other, and that's okay. And I really like that.
Yeah, the show really seems to like have these dramatic, breakups and then get-togethers and breakups and get-togethers, and it's like
it feels like it's the part of the show that feels the most like a requirement that they're trying to meet. Like, oh, we need to have like a romance subplot. And there needs to be like conflict. And I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm trying to round it out with some criticism, but that's like the only thing that really sticks out, like, as something I hope that they...
Yeah. It's like they did that enough throughout the first 2 seasons that it's like...
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We can ease off this subplot for now. Like...
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
But then it's like Huey and Nadia have this sort of playful relationship where she's like stealing his bagel, and it's like kind of... And like I guess maybe that's why they introduced both of those characters, because like Starlight's kind of chummy with her ex-boyfriend, and it's like there's gonna be a thing where they have a fight, and then I don't know if Huey's gonna want to be with Nadia now, or maybe he'll be afraid of if he rejects her because he knows that she can just blow his head up.
I think that's more of what the whole like playful whatever was setting up. Like whatever it meant to him before that, I think it's gonna play like she's gonna still be all like chummy buddy, and he's gonna be like, like he's gonna put on a face or start acting weird, and something. Is that good? Is that the end of the episode?
Do you want to do ratings per episode, or do we want to just? I don't think that matters.
I didn't even take notes for this. I'm trying to be more cash with this.
Yeah, I took a few notes, but really all I wrote was like, "Holy shit, penis hole!" Like that's all I wrote was. I couldn't believe it.
I guess if we want to do like for the whole show, because like unless a show really takes a turn, I guess more or less my rating for the show as a whole stays the same.
Right.
And I don't know, Boys is like a good if you want to do ratings for the whole series of The Boys, at least so far, for me it's like an 8,
Right.
It's a really solid 8, I'll say. Maybe like 8.5 or something, but I don't know. Episode by episode, it's like, it's probably also gonna be an 8 because I like the show, and it's being the show,
Yeah, this is the show that I think cracked the seal on me binging shit. Because for a long time I was like, no, I don't want to binge things. I want to like watch it, take my time and watch it. And then I started this just randomly on like an off day when I was off from work. And I think I watched like at least 2 or 3 episodes. I was like, it hooked me. And then, flash forward now and like we have like blown through shows really fast. And it's like,
oh yeah,
I don't know who I am anymore. But yeah, all right. Well, that sounds good. I don't know what day we're gonna.
You got to give a number to the show. I did it, so now you have to.
Oh God, I'm probably at an 8 too.
Okay.
I mean, really, it's probably one of my favorite shows that's out right now. That it feels weird being like watching like a show that's currently running, because usually I just wait a while and then I'll catch up on it later. And then this is like one of the few shows that I'm like actively watching. So
I'm always excited when a show that I watch releases weekly, because I like that more. Even though I'm not like as active on, I don't know. It's different like when you're in school and you talk to people like directly about stuff, but like, it's getting kind of caught up in that the prolonged like discussion about it instead of like the binge watch, and it's like super hot topic for like a couple weeks and then boom. But I like the lasting like more level hype train or whatever for stuff. It's just more fun.
Yeah, I mean, I always come back to this show, but like we used to have Breaking Bad watch parties, and like I distinctly remember watching the season 4 finale. I think it was you, me, Ethan, and maybe someone else, but we watched Face Off, the season 4 finale at your place, and I remember all of us just like hands on our faces at the end of that episode. Because I think it was the night before we left for the road trip or something like that. But yeah, I love watching a show like weekly and then having like a week to kind of discuss it and think about it, and then okay, next week here we go.
Yeah. And this way we get to do this SidePod. So, if it was just a binge, released all at once, it would be awkward for us to. Yeah. Or I guess we would just do like a single, like longer episode where we just talk. I don't know. But
yeah, it'd be more of a series overview, and you wouldn't get that episode to episode like discussion in detail. So yeah, I look forward to doing this as the series. I feel like this is like a test pilot for us doing this with other shows that are going to be releasing. So
any other like mutual ones we watch, like maybe future. Freya!
What's
she's chewing up my poster. You'll probably be able to hear her a lot in this episode.
I could kind of pick her out.
Oh, could you?
Yeah. When she's like meowing.
Yeah. Fuck. I was saying like any other like mutual watches, like next season of Succession would be like a good one to do too, something like that.
Yeah.
Did you finish season 3 by the way?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
that was
talk about that off the thing, but so our plan for now is, since we kind of fucked up with the episode thing, we're gonna try cramming in episode 2 and 3
sometime this week, probably.
Sometime before next Friday, so that next Friday we can
be current.
Actually be on time. Yeah. I mean, technically we're on time with this episode,
right?
But it's one of 3, so
yeah. Well, do you want to do next? Do you want to do like one episode per episode, or did you want to get 2 and 3? Just do 2 and 3 as one.
I feel like for continuity's sake, I would like to do them separately. But
okay, I'm good with that too.
We could try doing them in one go.
Let's do that.
Like back to back.
Let's do that. Old school, Sunday morning, 2 movie duds.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Bye. Oh, and there she is.
Nice.
In my mom cat shirt.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. That's as good of a way to end the show as any other. I guess
We did it. Stay tuned. It will get better.
Yeah.